Hey, what's up, guys? It's that guy with the pencil, and let's get into it. So, we have Seven Deadly Sins, chapter 334, The End of an Era. So, I do like this chapter. I do like this chapter a lot. It is one is literally exactly how I predicted. It is straight up a wind down chapter with everyone figuring out, oh, the sins have won. Everyone's happy. Everyone's cheering. The king's happy. All the knights are happy. Everyone's happy. Gilthunder, Griamore, and Hauser, they're all hanging out. They're getting together, and they're just like, yeah, you know what? I'm not sure how I can see them after this because they're mourning Escanor's death too, and I'm so glad that even that they're realizing it too. That like, man, Escanor was so important, I love how they respect Escanor for what he did, like just keeping a smile and a brave face on when he was about to die to the Endurance Bond, saving their lives when they couldn't do anything to it. And technically, all of them in that moment were way, way stronger than Escanor. So yeah, I like this chapter just because it brings me back to like early Taizai. Like being over 300 chapters into Taizai now, it's so weird. Whenever we do cut back to like the just humans, regular humans, we've gotten so wrapped up into these multi-continental planetary monsters. You know, the Demon King, True Magic Meliodas, Sunshine Mail, and like all these big, grand, massive scale characters. Like if you told me when I first started reading Taizai and when I first watched the anime, because I did get into the anime first and then read the manga. If you told me that like this is where the series was gonna go, I probably wouldn't believe you. But I love it whenever like the author Nagaba Sensei just pulls back and it's just like, yeah, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. We here. The beginning of the series still has some weight, but purely on an emotion level, and I do enjoy that. So they all decide to go get drunk, and it's time for celebration. So I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm glad everyone's not disrespecting what Escanor did by just not acknowledging it, but I'm glad they're just taking the load off. Even though I know this isn't gonna last, and that's where the chapter leads into. So they go to Grimoire's house because Hauser is a no, and Gilthunder is a no on their ability to go drink at their respective houses. And then Vivian pops up. So I brought this up in the last review. No one dies in Taizai, except for Escanor apparently. But even knows at this point maybe he's not dead. But I kind of want him to stay dead now. Like now that I've had time to reflect on, it, I really want Escanor to stay dead. But to be specific, Vivian pops out of Grimoire's closet, and it's revealed that Dreyfus saved her. He wanted to keep her alive because she's one of, despite how crazy she is one of Leonis's best resources and is a very powerful mage. So it makes sense. She's head over heels for him now, which is really, really, really awkward. And well, it's weird. It's weird, and it's supposed to be funny, but it's like an awkward funny, and I don't like it, especially when she tells Griamore, someone who I'm assuming is her exact same age. I'm not checking the wiki right now. Like they seem to be in a similar age range. I really don't like that she says you can call me mommy now. That is ugh. Ugh. Vivian has always been awkward as a character, and I understand why she's meant to be that way. But in the same way that I don't like purposely annoying characters, I really don't like Vivian. So, but she brings up the interesting point that I've been considering and I've been thinking about ever since we met Merlin. That something is up with the Witch of Belialowin. And she brings up the fact that now that darkness has fallen and the balance of light and darkness is out of sync, a new era will rise. And the three guys are confused. They're just like, excuse you? What'd you say? And she's just like, oh, something some teacher used to say all the time. And they're just like, wait, who's teacher? And because I guess they kind of did forget or just never learned that, yeah, Merlin, the Borson of Gluttony, was Vivian's teacher. And she was saying this apparently way, way, way before we even got to these levels of commandment here, archangels, all these different power ceiling nonsense. once we got here, she was apparently saying this way beforehand. This is like a good bit of retroactive continuity because you can't deny it. It's not like it pokes a hole in the story. So I like that Merlin has always had this sort of viewpoint in mind, and like this is what she wanted, and that leads me to Merlin as a character. So I'm pretty sure, out of all the sins, Merlin is the only one left. Like we've had side story for Bond, for Gother, for King, for Diane, for Meliodas, and for Escanor. They either got their own individual side story, or they got their own backstory revealed already. Why they got their sin, stuff like that. Merlin is the only one who we do not know at this point. So it makes sense that she would have some lasting impact of her gluttony, because each sin still has some impact of their sin. We know Merlin's is just that she wants infinite knowledge and wants to learn everything. That's why she made herself immortal in the first place. So, or made herself timeless so she doesn't age anymore. So, my point of contention with Merlin has always been she never really seemed like fully upfront with anybody. Even Meliodas and Elizabeth, like the two people that she knows from her time period, she's never seemed to like tell them everything. And we still don't know exactly what Merlin is. Because we never necessarily got clarification on what Belialowin was. Are wizards their own specific race? Because it seems something like that, because Merlin's real name cannot be pronounced by human tongue. So she obviously isn't human. But when her true form was revealed, when the spell was full, when absolute cancel was full counted right back at her by Chandler, she had a childish humanoid form. And that was stated to be her true form. So I'm really, really wondering, like, what is Merlin? Like, is she some sort of sixth unrevealed species or something like that? Because Merlin kind of just doesn't have any answers to her. She's always very indirect. She's always just been this kind of character that you go to because you've just run out of options. Like this is in narrative and out of narrative sense. Like whenever Nakaman really needed to pull something out of nowhere, it was always back to Merlin. Like where did Lostfang come from? Oh, Merlin had it. Where did Corachus come from? Oh, Merlin had it. They need to beat the Ten Commandments that are invading the castle. Oh, Merlin has infinite magic. Um, we need to figure out a way to stop Melios from popping out the time trooper. Oh, Merlin has a time spell. They can't be Grey Road. Oh, Merlin is timeless. They need to amplify someone's power. Merlin can use power amplify. Like Merlin has always been the character that you just let like Nakaba and the characters always go to. They just need nonsense pulled off somewhere, and it only works because Merlin is so oddly mysterious. Like I feel like we know absolutely nothing about Merlin, and that's what kind of scares me and really intrigues me with a character like her, because we don't. It's wild to think about, but we seriously know nothing about Merlin, and this leads me to wonder why is she so interested in Arthur? Is is like he the key to some power that she's been seeking for these past 3,000 years? Because she seems so like pre-aware and ready for the balance of light and darkness to be shaken up, and she was the one who trained Arthur. So it seems like something is going to happen with Merlin. I'm not sure if she's going to be like the endgame villain. That would be a twist. That'd be really really cool. I just doubt Nakaba would do it. And also just because the Supreme Deity is just this loose hanging plot thread that unless this series goes on way longer than I think it will, I doubt that they could have time for a whole arc with Merlin as the main villainess. So I'm literally just wondering. Like I'm extremely intrigued to see where this goes. Because is Merlin the villain, or is she preparing for something on the side of the heroes? It's just not clear. And the way she smiles at the end of this chapter, and it cuts to like a vision of the dead or dying Arthur, it's very, very vague. Like it's not opaquely evil. It's not opaquely good. It's just intrigued, and I'm intrigued by that. I like how mysterious this is, but I'm also yeah. This is all honestly all around a good thing because When I'm confused and I can't predict where a story is going, that is great, honestly. That is when a story is doing good. So I'm glad that things are looking up for Merlin. And I feel like we're getting her backstory soon. We're getting something of her backstory. I feel like we're gonna, and I also feel like we're gonna get answers to a whole ton of questions about Arthur soon. Because I still have so many questions about Arthur himself. Why hasn't he awakened his magic? All this stuff about Excalibur, Cav. What the heck is Cav? So many things. Like these two characters, like the two main figures that you always hear about in Arthurian legend, Arthur and Merlin. I'm really intrigued to see what Nakaba does with these characters, how he can work them in. So yeah, honestly, I give this chapter. See, just because it's a winding down chapter, like I'm gonna give it a lower score because this isn't like any really of the main characters. It's just really big setup for the next chapters and probably the next arc or next series, depending on how Nakaba wants to take this. So I'm gonna give this chapter like a 7 out of 10 or 6 out of 10. It's like 7 to 6 range, just because nothing much happens in this chapter. It's just rejoicing. It's rejoicing on a minor scale, and I really don't like Vivian, but I like where this can take Seven Deadly Sins. So yeah, that's my opinions on chapter 334. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you guys agree with me? Do you think Merlin is some wild goon that's about to turn around and be the ultimate villain that no one can stop because Merlin is nonsense? Or do you think she's just preparing for something with the heroes? What do you think about Arthur? What do you think? I want to know what you guys think because I it's just this is interesting. Like, admittedly, Taizai hasn't been like grab you by the throat interesting in a while. Like this, it hasn't been this interesting since we initially figured out what Meliodas was as a demon and like his connection to the Ten Commandments. Like all before we got all that backstory about Meliodas, this is we're back in that territory of interesting. So please tell me what you guys think. Tell me what you guys want to find out. Do you guys want the Supreme Deity to come through? Do you guys want Merlin to be the endgame villainous? Do you want Arthur to play a role? What do you guys want? Please tell me in the comment section below. And please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you do subscribe, make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when this video and all these content is dropping. I make a lot of content now. I'm going to try to reviews alongside all my other stuff. But please, subscribe, like, comment, share. This is your boy, that guy with the pencil, writing off.